Hey, this is your host, Greg Mengelt. Please check out my new daily podcast. It's called Greg and His Friends Talk Sports. Every day, my friends and I are talking about whatever Central Indiana sports fans are talking about, whether it's the Pacers, Fever, Colts, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, national sports, local colleges, or, of course, high school sports. My friends and I are talking about it every single day on the Central Indiana Sports Report. We work really hard on it, and it's a lot of fun, so please do us a huge favor and check it out. Welcome, sports fans, to a special edition of the Central Indiana Sports Report, our recap of the Class 2A Elwood Sectional Semifinals Friday night at John Ward Gymnasium. Joining me right here at Stage 22 is Michelle Garmon, sports editor of the Tipton Tribune, and Elwood call leader, who was there to cover the game and has a recap. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and Michelle. Most of our interest was in the Lapel Elwood game with what we cover, but the first game was the good one. 67-66 overtime win by the Sheridan Blackhawks, who now will face the Lapel Bulldogs for the sectional championship. Sheridan 19-4, Lapel 19-5. Should be a good one. Lapel, of course, the favorite.
It should be a very good game. I will say this, it's going to be a tough matchup for Sheridan because Lapel has shooters all over the court. All five guys that they put in the game can all step behind the three-point arc and make shots. They have some length, they have some size. They're very good pressing defense. I think it's going to be some great matchups. Coach Ryan VanSkyock of Elwood and I were talking after their game tonight, and this sectional has really featured some really good guards. We saw it tonight in this game, the Taylor Sheridan game. I mean, you had Galloway or Harris for Taylor, and then you have Page for Sheridan and Hamilton. The key for Lapel will be keeping track of Page and Hamilton, and then Sheridan's going to have to keep track of Garber. The list just goes on and on. Like I said, the five. Lapel's just really impressed me.
6-7 guys, they're all pretty good. About the same kind of player. I think Garber's taking a step where he's now the guy.
Yes, they play just so hard. All five of them play so hard, and it's
been on full display so far in the sectional. Yes. I think they've outscored Franklin and Elwood by 80 points.
Yeah, something like that. It's just incredible what they've done. It's going to be a tough matchup. Now, as we'll get into a little bit later when we talk to Kevin Cherry, Lapel's coach, they haven't been in a close sectional game yet, so he doesn't know how his team's going to act or react.
All right, Michelle, let's start with the game that turned out to be a classic. Taylor Sheridan, they played twice this year. Sheridan came out on top in two really good games. Of course, as Rob Hunt's been pointing out all week, the Taylor Sheridan game, which he's calling the Yellowstone game because, of course, Taylor Sheridan is the writer of Yellowstone. But they now beat Taylor on their way to a conference championship and a sectional championship game. And really nice performance by Sheridan. Want to let everybody know coming up, we talked to Trey Page and Devon Hamilton of Sheridan. The audio is not great. We also lost the audio for Sheridan coach Bill Bowen, so sorry to waste his time, but if you'd have been there, you'd understood. So sorry. We also lost a little bit of the audio from Devon and Trey, and then again, a little bit from Coach Fonso White, who we talked to as well. You mentioned Coach Cherry and Coach VanSkyock, so we got a lot coming up, Michelle. Let's get to the recap of Sheridan and Taylor.
Taylor had a nice little run, and the first quarter, a three-pointer by Javion Harris gave them a 13-7 lead. A minute and a half to go in the first quarter, and Sheridan came back, and Dash Donathan hit a three that pulled the Blackhawks within 13-12 at the end of the first quarter. Sheridan then actually regained the lead, 18-17, but Taylor then went on a three-point barrage. Trey McClatchy scored in the lane. He also hit a three, and Keyshawn Galloway hit a three, and Taylor had a 28-25 lead. Now, I'm going to tell you, they did a lot of this because Harris picked up his third personal foul at the 5:28 mark of the second quarter, and he did not come back in until with 31 or 2.5 minutes to go, and I think it's because they were trying to spread the floor and run that offense. But Sheridan ended the quarter with 2 free throws. It was kind of a scramble play, and unfortunately for Taylor, they ended up getting a foul that sent Trey Page to the free throw line. And, he's like Mr. Automatic. I know you've probably mentioned this. We all know who his grandfather is, right? Billy Keller. He made those free throws, and Taylor had 28-27 lead at halftime.
And then things got really good in the third.
Yeah,
Michelle.
well, Page opened up the third quarter with a 3.
It's the best quarter I've seen all year.
Yeah, but then Taylor went on a 17-5 run after Page hit that 3. And in that run, Taylor got a 3-pointer from Galloway, 2 3-pointers from Harris. McClatchy had a rebound and went coast to coast. And then Galloway scored again and to put Taylor up 45-35 with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Sheridan flipped the script on the Titans, and they ended the quarter then on a 10-5 run. And they got threes from Page and Chance Spencer. And that pulled them within 48-45. Harris got hit 2 free throws with 5 seconds remaining. And Taylor went into the fourth quarter with a 50-45 lead. Page got loose again, and then he's got a quick release. It's really fun to watch him. Shooters, I'm telling you, if anybody's going to that game tomorrow night and you're a young player, I want you to watch Trey Page and how he comes off screens and how he always catches the ball ready to shoot, and it doesn't take him long to get that shot off.
And that shot is pure.
Yes. Well, that 3 started a 9-2 run by Sheridan that gave them a 54-52 lead with 4 minutes remaining in regulation. Taylor came right back, and Galloway had 5 points in the second of 2 free throws, and Taylor went up 59-54 with 1:31 remaining, and it looked like
I was already starting to write down Taylor in my notes, Michelle.
Yeah, and then they just made a couple mistakes, and Sheridan took advantage. Donovan had a offensive rebound, was fouled. He hit 2 free throws, and then Mr. Page came up with another big-time 3 that evened the score at 59, all with 52 seconds remaining. Taylor held the ball for the final shot, and it was a good look. Harris got off a good look, a good 3-point jumper that just rimmed out, and with about 1 second to go, and we went to overtime. And so in the overtime, it looked like Sheridan was going to just control that because they scored. Page opened the overtime with a 3. Then Hamilton made a nifty baseline cut, scored a layup, 64-59. But then Sheridan got sloppy with the ball, and Harris turned 2 Sheridan turnovers into 2 big-time slam dunks. And it was 64-63. Hamilton came up big again to go 66-63. Spencer made 1 of 2 free throws. It was 67-63 with just under 10 seconds to go. Harris hit a big 3, but Taylor was out of timeouts.
I want to point out a player who probably didn't show up much in the stat sheet, but I thought really had a nice floor game. For Sheridan, that's senior Jackson Pierman, their point guard, who did a nice job beating a lot of the pressure for Taylor. And he's probably not going to score many points because they got players who can do that, but was a serious contributor to this.
Yeah, he really was. And he scored 7 points, and he was also a contributor because he chased down a lot of offensive rebounds because it seemed like when Sheridan would miss outside shots, they missed them long. And he's pretty quick, and he would get to the ball. Did a great job of hustling. This was a great game. Keyshawn Galloway ended up with a game-high 23 points. For Taylor, Harris followed with 22 points, and then McClatchy had 9 points. And then Pugh had 5 points all in the second half to be their top 4 scorers.
Yeah, hit some big shots, too.
Yeah. Page finished the game with 20 points to lead Sheridan. Hamilton was just 1 behind with 19. And Jonathan followed with 11. And then Chance Spencer and Jackson Pierman each had this 7 points apiece.
All right, Michelle, let's hear our interview with Sheridan senior Devon Hamilton and junior Trey Page about the win. And again, sorry some of this got cut off, but thank you so much to Trey and Devon for taking the time.
never give up, and I'm just, getting my teammates back into the game, motivating them, everything. So whenever they need me, like if their heads are down, I gotta get back up. So.
Your backdoor cuts, you guys all work that really well. I take it you guys, several of you played together a lot of years, so you're used to looking at that little eye contact and going and finding each other.
Yeah, we've been playing together since 8th grade. This is nothing new. It's just I'm not ready to play my last game with him, so we're fighting every single game to the final buzzer.
What do you know about Lapel, guys?
Great shooting team.
Hey, I think they're kind of like a Covenant Christian in a way. We got a big tall guy, number 42. He can shoot the ball from the free throw line anywhere inside the perimeter. And they got an all-around shooting team, much like a Covenant Christian team.
We just got to close out hard on them. We can't let them shoot. We can't let them stick to their strong suits.
Thanks so much, guys. Once again, so sorry for cutting off the interview, and especially for the sound. It was even louder in there than it sounded, and it really caused some issues with the audio. Again, sorry to Coach Bowen and wasting his time tonight, but honest mistake and probably pretty unavoidable.
Taylor fans, if you paid for an all-session ticket, which I'm guessing that you did because it's cheaper to even if you go to 2 sessions as opposed to buying a single session each time, you more than got your money's worth because you got treated to extra basketball and 2 straight games.
10 quarters.
I'll tell you what, I haven't seen that in a while. I know I've been where there have been overtime games, multiple overtime games in a sectional, but I haven't really seen that in a while. And exciting basketball, and
that side of the bracket's been fun.
It has been fun.
The other side of the bracket has been all Lapel.
Right, yes, it has. And I want to give. I've watched Taylor a lot of times, and I've liked the coaches that they've had and talked to him before. But I will say this: Fonso White has done a tremendous job this year. This was a Taylor team that I thought was a lot more disciplined. Late last year, they led Tipton. Late, granted, Tipton had Grady Carpenter, makes a big difference. But even then, I think Javion Harris is the one that's really made me draw my attention to how much influence Fonso White has had on him, because he used to foul out. I mean, he was going to foul out or miss most of the game because of foul trouble. But he really calmed him down, was less emotional on the court, and just made smart decisions. So Fonso's done a great job in his first year there at Taylor.
By the way, a lot of great athletes in Howard County, but Javion Harris is your athlete of the year, everybody. Thanks also to Coach White, who spent some time with us on the first 2 nights of the sectional. And obviously, we don't ask the coach of the losing team necessarily to come and talk to us, but he did anyway, and really enjoyed talking to him on air and off. It was a really nice conversation. You said he was a great guy. You were right. So here is Taylor head coach Fonso White.
That group of seniors I was supposed to be in by way of the draw, but you gave yourself a chance, and a couple of things fall your way. You're in the sectional championship tomorrow night. It's a chance to win it.
Coach, what I thought there were times tonight that maybe you guys got sped up a little too fast than what you would have liked.
Yeah, we like to play fast too, and I mean, for a lot of people don't notice it, so we were averaging about 71.5 points in our last 6 games there for a while. And the goal was to play fast, but tonight I told the guys, if we got to play possession for possession basketball, that's what we'll do, because I think they struggle with that a little bit. I mean, some teams can flourish in chaos, and so I wanted to eliminate some of the chaos tonight. And it almost worked to our advantage. We had a 10-point lead there, and somehow we fluttered it away. But all in all, pleased with the kids, with how they handled some of the adversity and the resilience in the game. And, we were able to still give ourselves a chance.
Javion does what Javion does, but I thought Keyshawn Harris played outstanding for you guys tonight.
Yeah, Keyshawn did a great job for us driving and understand the triple gaps that we presented and opened up for. But at the end of the day, I told those guys, it's the little things sometimes. Just like those passes in the beginning where you think someone's there, and then you look at them and they're open and then they're not open. So it's the little things like that.
4 really valuable seniors you're losing tonight. What message did you give to them?
Well, I mean, we only had 3 of those seniors tonight. One had to go do another an endeavor for school tonight. And I think at the end of the day, you don't want to say that hurt us, but man, all in all, True Blood was an integral part to what we do. And had he been here, who knows? You swing it 8 points another way from him and rebounds from him. He was an integral part to what we do, and we didn't have him tonight.
I wondered where he was because I thought you really did miss his presence, especially that outside threat. And even just stronger, he helps you rebound and keep balls alive inside.
It was just one of those things. There was 2 things scheduled for tonight, the band thing and then the sectional game. And he had a choice between which one he needed to go to, and he made the choice. And those young adult choices that we live with.
What do you say about your 3 stars throughout the year and what they gave to this program?
Well, I mean, you got to look back and think about it. You got Javion Harris that finishes his career probably like 1,200 points in his career. So he'll finish like 4th on the career lead. You got Dre McClatchy with 1,180 or so. He'll finish 4th on the leaderboard for 1,000 points. And then you got a kid like Keyshawn that will come into next season only needing like 120 points before he gets over 1,000. So we just got to regroup and hope that Keaton Wiley gets in the gym a lot this summer and Xavier Pugh gets in the gym a lot this summer. And then ultimately Keyshawn and those guys will be the big 3. And then we got to get some of those younger JV guys to step up and get some gym time. Thanks so much, Coach. Hey, thank you guys.
Again, sorry about losing just a little bit off the front of that interview. And also, I know it sounds like we're shouting at you, but we are talking over a lot of noise in the gym. But because of my software, you just can't hear the background noise from that one. All right, back to the podcast.
All right, Michelle, as we said in the beginning, the Lapel and Elwood game, Madison County, obviously was the game that we were most interested in going into the night. Sheridan and Taylor turned out to be the good one, so we had a long recap. I have a feeling this recap is going to be a little shorter.
Yes, a little shorter. Lapel came out, and they scored first. Elwood scored, and then they hit a 3, and Cherry immediately called timeout. And I was sitting there thinking, what's he calling timeout for? I mean, their offense was running pretty well, but it was a defensive adjustment because he knew that Elwood, and they were trying to run clock, run a bit of a delay game. So Coach Cherry, so Coach Cherry just switched it to a 1-3-1, speed up trap, full court press. And once he did that, Elwood got sped up, turnovers after turnovers. And like I said, the game was, I know 18-2 at the end of the first quarter. That's only 16 points, but it was really great. You and I both know it was more than 16 points. That game was over by the end of the first quarter.
It was a demoralizing final 3 minutes of the first quarter. Let's just say that.
Yes. And it didn't get much better in the second quarter. And Lapel's just good at, Coach VanSkyock has done a nice job with what he's done with Elwood. They're just not at that level yet. You can tell the difference. You can tell which kids work on their games in the off season, it's summer. And I'm not talking about playing a bunch of basketball. I'm talking about getting in the gym and getting up shots, working ball handling drills and stuff like that. Yes. Yeah. And you can just tell. And I would say of the teams the 6 teams that were in that tournament that we've seen, was the least skilled.
And I want to say this, and again, it's the program. It's the basketball I first fell in love with was Elwood basketball, and I promise I'm not saying anything negative about the kids, but it really takes off season. It really takes doing it over and over and over. It's not like some sports where you can show up, and if you're athletic, you can be good at it. You got to do it over. And honestly, what I saw on the court tonight was not a huge gap in athleticism. It was a huge gap in skill.
Yes. Coach, the late, great Larry Angle coach, who coached Rushville and Carmel and at Tipton, he always said that good shooters aren't made from October to March. They're made from like the middle of April to October. That's when good shooters are made. You got to get up shots. You need to, and
ball handlers. That's what they really need is ball handlers.
Yes, and it's got to be game speed. You can't just go out there, goof off, and do things. You got to do these drills at game speed. If you don't do reps at game speed, you're not improving.
And of course, Michelle's the sports editor, the Elwood call leader. So we talk a little more about Elwood there. But let's hear from Kevin Cherry before we finish off with some Elwood and hear from head coach Ryan VanSkyock. Coach, don't want to spend a whole lot of time on tonight's game. Just kind of came out and took care of business.
It was a game where, first of all, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Ryan and the way he does things. And once the game got to be what it was, I was trying to balance, we've got guys that need to play tomorrow. And I just kind of wanted to keep them in some rhythm and allow our bench to play as well. So we started the second half with Devon and Liam and Owen on the bench. They didn't play the second half. But I thought the way we came out, Ryan, he game planned it because he was going to try to slow it down and run a little delay there and see if he could take really long possessions. And when I saw that, I thought, he called the timeout early and we switched to the 1-3-1 to try to speed them up, because in these kind of scenarios, the longer an underdog sticks around, the more the pressure builds, the excitement in the arena. And I wanted to try to eliminate that early. And I know he had mentioned that the first 5 or 6 minutes would be important for them to try to pull off an upset. And that was our same message too, is that those 5 or 6 minutes are important to us as well. And so we got off to a great start.
Coach, you guys offensively just look very crisp, very sharp in this tournament so far. You're shooting the ball well. You're offensive rebounding well. I mean, you haven't really turned the ball over much.
Once we settle into the game, we've done a good job taking care of the basketball. We turned it over a couple times early tonight that were a little bit unforced, I thought. The Frankton game, we did it. But once the game kind of settles down, we get through that first, the jitters or whatever that is, we've done a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball. And that'll be a really big-time point of emphasis tomorrow, along with never forgetting where 14's at.
It helps because you have all 5 of your players on the floor are capable of knocking down 3-point shots and scoring. So tell me, how much of an advantage is that for you guys?
It's a big advantage. There's no doubt about that. And I think on any given night, we can be led in scoring by any of our top 7. And tonight we were tied. Case O'Connor comes in and puts in 15 as a sophomore. But yeah, it's a blessing as a coach, and we try to keep things very simple. Is be a great teammate, be unselfish, 2-ball reversals and a paint touch, and if we can do those things, good things normally happen.
But it seems like Owen Garber more and more is becoming kind of a go-to guy.
The guys believe in him, and Owen is super skilled and he's tremendous without the basketball in his hands. And he's good with the ball in his hands as well. But yeah, Owen is a coach's dream to coach. He's incredibly unselfish. He makes everyone else around him better. A big motor that never stops. And he's had that ever since his freshman year. And physically now, as he's continued to get bigger and stronger, his game is really taking off. I thought after about, the Liberty Christian game this year, when they beat us that weekend, ever since about that time, Owen has gotten better and better and better each day at practice, each game. And really, I think he has a tremendously high ceiling even next year.
So you are winning 2 games by about 80 combined points, while there's overtimes all over the other side of the bracket. I bet you hate seeing that, don't you?
Well, yeah, I don't. But on the flip side, you could flip it and say, you guys haven't been tested yet. So when you do get in a tight situation, how are you going to respond? So there's 2 sides of that. I think our schedule and some of the games we had to play and win close games late, I think has prepared us for that type of a scenario. But obviously we haven't been in that yet in this tournament. And I expect tomorrow will be much different than our first 2 games. It'll be a great contest.
So I say, yeah, you talk about knowing where Paige is on the court because he does, and he has such a nice quick release with that 3. And then the Hamilton kid, Devon Hamilton, is just kind of I call him a quiet, sneaky type of scorer.
You're exactly right. When 14 draws so much attention, that does give other guys on their team an opportunity to make plays. I thought Taylor did a pretty good job on him that first half of making things very difficult for him. They lost him some in that second half, and he made him pay. And he's a guy that you just can't absolutely lose at any given time. And we'll talk about that maybe on the bus ride home when we get to the school, and then first thing tomorrow at walkthrough.
Of course, we talk about you matching up with Sheridan, but they also have to match up with you. They have to find somebody to guard Garber and Jones and and Craig and Neville. I mean, yes.
You just go down through the list. That it does create matchup problems. You kind of have to pick your poison a little bit. And if we're making threes, we become a really difficult guard because we can put it on the floor and dribble drive you. But at the same time, I think Sheridan plays a very similar style to where we do. They'll shoot a high volume threes at times. And if they're making them, they become a very difficult guard because they too can put it on the floor and dribble drive you. So Coach Bowen does a really good job. I didn't know who was going to win that Taylor game and Sheridan game. So I, got prepared for Elwood. And then today, once the game plan was in, it's kind of like the cake was baked. So we got that. Let's watch Sheridan and Taylor. And so I was able to watch a lot of Sheridan and Taylor and watch the Sheridan-Taylor game. So we were prepared from a game plan standpoint, what we're going to communicate to the guys, regardless of who won. So we'll get that communicated tonight and then prepared tomorrow.
Coach, since you've been here at Lapel, been some few bumps in the road in the postseason, but you're one win away.
Yeah, and that was the message coming into this year. It's a community that's a very passionate fan base, and you can win 19 games or 18 games, and all's well. But if you don't have post-tournament success, they've been spoiled over. I shouldn't say spoiled. That's just the expectation level, and that's a good thing. I don't think I would want to be anywhere where apathy has set in. And
being spoiled as a fan is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And you go back through, Coach Howell's years. What a tremendous legend they had as a coach there for a long time and 2 state titles. And you're coaching somewhere where the guy's name's on the floor. One of my guys I worked for several years ago, he was giving me advice on jobs to go look for. He goes, well, a lot of times you don't want to go where a guy's had a tremendous amount of success right before because then you got to fill those shoes. And then secondly is you don't want to go coach where the coach's name's on the floor. And I always get a kick out of that because there I am standing in front of Jimmy Howe Court every home game. But
you can never get away from that, kid.
No, I can't. And then Jimmy, Coach Howe, I got a tremendous amount of respect for him. And he was back this season to celebrate his 2016 team. And I was always happy to see him. And anytime he can come in our gym and I can learn from him, I'm excited to be able to do that.
Of course, you've got a pretty successful former Lapel girls basketball coach sitting beside you on your bench.
Yeah, Coach Bratton has been a tremendous asset. In fact, he may hold the record at Lapel for the most number of basketball games won at that high school. Over the number of years that he was there as the head girls basketball coach, the tournament success that he had, he's been a huge fan and advocate of mine since I was hired. And guys like him are just irreplaceable on your staff. And I'm very happy to be able to coach alongside of him.
Coach, I hope you have to make a quick trip to California and back to watch Carson make her professional women's soccer debut next week. Because if you do have to make the quick one, it means you win tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be an expensive plane ticket, but well worth it. And hopefully I can do that as well, Michelle.
Well, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on your daughter's career, and I hope it goes well. Enjoy California, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
And again, pretty obvious that Lapel's the favorite tomorrow night. Wouldn't count Sheridan completely out, but I would be surprised if it's not Lapel.
Well, we'll just say this with Sheridan: if they can find a way to get Paige open for looks, and he struggled shooting a little bit in the first half, but he was really good in the second half and overtime. And if they can get him looks, and he can cause problems. Hamilton can cause problems if you keep too much on him. The key, really, I think Lapel is just because I think overall they have more size, and I think they can just spread you. And not only that, these kids win. These kids know how to win. They win football sectionals. They win baseball sectionals. Win.
That's right. And let's talk a little bit now about Elwood and Coach VanSkyock, who believes that better days are ahead for this program. 10 wins, though. It's a step.
It is a step. What's going to really determine that is, again, the offseason. And he told his young kids that. The good news for Elwood is they have a strong 8th grade group.
And we saw a lot of good stuff from young kids, even tonight.
Yes. So this 8th grade group is going to come in. So if these kids just sit there and think, well, I can coast into next year.
I'm a varsity starter. That's right.
It's not going to happen because from what Coach VanSkyock says, the 8th grade class, they're basketball players. And I think in some ways, what Elwood's kind of had in the past is I don't know that they've been basketball players. But Ryan's done a great job of starting a youth program, and I think that's really helped manufacture some of these wins and confidence and stuff. You think about it, he knew he had to have a youth program. His fourth season. So he started with the youth from year one when he got here. He knew what he needed. And so if you think about it, these eighth graders then, they were like fifth graders. So they've learned the way he wants things done, which will give them an advantage coming in next year. So the young kids that are coming back, you're going to have to work, and you have to get in the weight room. I don't know about you, Greg, but I thought that was another huge difference. Lapel was just so much physically stronger than Elwood tonight.
All right, Michelle, let's hear from Coach VanSkyock. And thank you so much, Michelle, for joining me. And I just want to remind everybody once again that despite of the result tonight, it is great to be an Elwood Panther.
Ryan, it was a tough night. And, of course, it didn't help you get the draw you got. And then Lapel is just playing so extremely well right now. And there's a veteran group.
Yeah, they're really good. I felt like we had a really good game plan, and it worked for about the first 4 minutes of us being really patient, trying to hold the basketball. Unfortunately, Coach Cherry is just an outstanding coach. He kind of seen what we were trying to do of dictate the tempo and slow it down. So as soon as he was able to get that timeout, and you could really see him pick up the pressure on us, and unfortunately that's an area where we really struggled all year is handling the pressure. And as soon as he did that, our kids get so sped up in their heads, and unfortunately a lot of mistakes in that first quarter, and then led to a lot of layups and then a lot of breakdown defensively. And then you get to see our kids, they started hanging their heads, and it was over from there. So we just got to keep developing. If you want to be successful in varsity basketball, you have to have really good guards. And you look at Lapel, even their big kid can handle it, can shoot it. They got 7, 8 dudes that are legit, I think, all-around players, and it makes them really dangerous.
I thought there were some really good guards in this tournament. I mean, saw some really good guards in the first game tonight with Taylor and Sheridan.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the Taylor guard. That kid is legit really good. And he really put them on their back tonight, and he's been fun to watch. And then, of course, Billy Shepard's grandkid, really good shooter. I think tomorrow's matchup's going to be one of the good basketball games in the state with Lapel and Sheridan tomorrow. That's going to be a really good game. But like you said, I think that was the most exciting thing about this sectional. There's just really good, outstanding players in it. And then, I don't know, I might be biased, but I felt like there's unbelievable coaches in our sectional too. A lot of success. Coach White at Taylor is just doing a tremendous job, and you could just see those kids are so much more disciplined now. Coach at Sheridan, I mean, he's been around such a long time. His kids just play the right way. Coach Cherry, just unbelievable coach, very disciplined. Their kids do things the right way. Got Coach Bropson. I think he's one of the better coaches in the state of Indiana. There's times that he don't have necessarily the talent, but those kids always play hard, and they play the right way, and they play his system. So it's just been amazing to watch a lot of these teams and a lot of these coaches in our sectional that we haven't got to see really.
Also, I'm going to guess, like, you get a lot of young guys, and I know you'll do your summer stuff, but it's probably a message for them to get into the gym and work on their individual skills as much as playing games, because the games are nice, but they need some skill work.
Everybody knows me. I'm a really honest person, and I say what's on my mind, and sometimes that gets me in trouble. But that was the message to the young kids, is our 8th graders are pretty good, and those kids are basketball players. And the message was to those young kids, if you don't get in the gym and work, they're taking your spot next year as freshmen. Those kids have been done with their season. Now they're playing in a 8th grade league in Indianapolis. Like, those kids love basketball. They're very skilled, and I think they're going to be really good. So our goal is to get some of those kids developed with some of our older kids, and we think we can be okay. But those kids, we try to send them a wake-up call. If you don't get into the gym and work, you're going to get bypassed next year by freshmen.
Well, everybody, in spite of a couple of mistakes, that was a really good podcast and a lot of fun to do. But it is 4 o'clock in the morning, and I still have another podcast to do. It's called Greg and His Friends Talk Sports. Coming up in a couple of hours, should actually be out by the time you're listening to this. And I have scores and highlights from all over Central Indiana for Friday night's boys basketball sectional semifinals. Also, a preview of the Purdue-Wisconsin game with Jake Dunn and the IU-Ohio State game with Grant Schaus. Pacers lost again. All kinds of stuff coming up on Greg and His Friends Talk Sports. Please check it out. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITT Media, and I love Susan.